And a jolly good afternoon to you from a rather overcast, slightly rainy and damp Canterbury in Kent, England. And as seems to be the norm for me at the moment, every time I've got a moment to make a video, it seems to start raining. Although you will find a few with a bit of sunshine on there too, if you take a look at the channel. Anyway, today all I'm going to do is a approximately 4-mile walk in and around Canterbury. Based on, today I'm going to use an app called Go Jauntly, which I've used many times before and very rarely lets me down. And I'm just going to go and see where it takes me. So here we are in the centre of Canterbury. I guess we could say the home of the Archbishop of Canterbury, who I'm sure everybody has heard of. So without any further ado, through that rather impressive gateway and arch that cars seem to still go through and around, let's head off. And this is the River Great Stour, how do we say it? I don't know. Which is flowing off towards, I expect, the Thames estuary, which will be off in the distance behind me. The walk isn't actually taking me in that direction, which seems a pity because it looks quite nice down there. But I'm going with the app, as I often do. And trusting it will take me somewhere nice when I can get across this very busy road. I've never actually been to Canterbury before, and already I can see it's very historical and very picturesque. Somewhat busy just in this particular area, just off the centre. And looking at the route I'm being sent, looks like we'll be visiting some quieter parts and then finishing up back in the centre of the city. After about 4 miles, or 6 or so kilometres approximately. For those of you that deal in those distances, certainly plenty of cafes and coffee shops around this central section. Rather pleasingly, it is directing me across this little bridge. Thought I'd better just double check it. Guy's Bridge, 1994. So it's not been here that long. One can only assume there was something here beforehand that fell apart, or so it needed replacing. And instantly we're back into a street just off the river now. These buildings here on the left seem to be mostly cafeterias, restaurants and so on. Residential houses to the right. For those of you that watched any more of my videos, you know that the majority of them have got music playing. Due to the fact I received a few negative comments about the music, I've decided to do a few minus the music, just to see if I get any comments. So feel free to say whether you prefer the ones with a bit of music coming and going in the background, or you prefer not to hear any music. You might prefer not to hear any speaking. Just over there, first glimpse of Canterbury Cathedral. I'm sure we'll come to that later on in better detail. I usually say towards the very end of the video, if you like what you've seen, click on the like button, or click on the dislike button twice, and subscribe if you want to see some more, and press the yellow bell for notifications. You know the score if you watch YouTube, what to do. And you'll find on my channel lots of videos of me wandering around different parts of the UK, Europe and beyond, and plenty more to come. On Pound Lane now, for those of you that know this area. On a signpost up there directing you towards the Marlow Theatre. I'm going to cross over here actually quickly. I think that sounds like a weir. Plenty of water going through Canterbury, that's for sure, when you look on the map. And been sent to Riverside, along the Riverside. It's quite a noisy place in the centre. I think I've become more sensitive to traffic and noise as the years have gone by. I know the world is a noisier place than it used to be, but I was videoing in London the other day, and it was just ridiculous, the amount of clanking and banging and walloping going along developments. I couldn't live there, that's for sure. Hopefully this walk, which seems to mostly concentrate on the centre of Canterbury, will take me to some quieter parts. As I say, we're just alongside the river now, on the opposite side. Doesn't look like one you can really get down to the edge of that easily. It is quite a fast flowing river as well. I imagine it's relatively quiet here today given the weather. It's also only May, but a lot of tourists visit Canterbury. A lot of coach trips come here, and I imagine on a beautiful summer's day it's very, very busy in the centre. I did, funnily enough, Winchester not that long ago, and it absolutely poured down. I got drenched that day, but again, Winchester, another of those beautiful cities that with the cathedral and lots of tourists. Fortunately for me, it wasn't particularly busy that day. It was only me silly enough to want to wander about in the rain, I think. Just coming up to a large coach park. All these towns that are popular with tourists and coach trips from London and places like that will have coach parks, and when I have a little look in there, that'll be a bit of an indication as to how busy the town centre is going to be today with the number of coaches sat in there. I can't imagine it'll be too many. It's also a Tuesday. Well, there's a fair few coaches in the coach park, but quite a well appointed looking coach station as well, with some toilets and so on. Seems to be a footpath on the other side there as well, with accompanying litter, unfortunately. And we're just turning off from this path alongside the river shortly, and joining that road up there. Looks like we're taking a right turn up towards that main road. Alright, up onto rather a busy road now for a little while. There's a business over there called the Korean Cowgirl. I can only guess at what that actually is. Next door is Heavenly Desserts, so presuming it's a restaurant. I like Korean food, but you do need to like it hot. Hot, hot, hot. Just outside a massive Sainsbury's here, by the way. It's sort of a bit of a nondescript edge of town sort of area. Presumably we'll be walking into something a bit more pleasurable to walk around very shortly. A sort of a footpath and green area just next to a very, very busy road, which kind of helps. But not ideal for a relaxing stroll, I have to say. Hopefully this is just the hard yards, get into the good bits later on. Oh, let's see what I mean by the noise. You hear that? Unmarked police car. So, all these green spaces these days, that they're not manicuring and keeping them looking nice, are supposedly to help the environment, to help wildlife and so on and so forth. Or is it just an excuse for the council to save some money and the places to become a little bit creepier and not so appealing, and then you end up with stuff like that sort of lobbed in it? You probably get stuff lobbed in it anyway, to be fair, but it just seems to me a very convenient excuse to cut costs on keeping places looking nice. I might be wrong, please feel free to correct me. Slightly quieter road now, just crossing over crossing over from Military Road onto Military Road. It's interesting. Still on Military Road, although I've turned off the other Military Road onto a third Military Road. I guess it's just the reassignment of the rights of way and so on and so forth. It's probably all just one road, but on time. Northgate Centre, for those of you that know the area, is where we're approaching. I have to say, I think the centre of Canterbury is going to be a lot more interesting than these outskirt areas. Interesting to see all the same Prince of Wales Youth Club over there. So we're heading up this little alleyway now and into what appears to be a park or a woods, so that's good. Really is steady rain today. You see signs like that. You know there probably isn't one, but you never know. Usually means that activities that shouldn't be going on are here on a regular basis. It's one of those strange sort of mid to late spring days. Bearing in mind it's only 2 weeks off summer now. It's really quite warm and humid and raining at the same time, which makes a choice of clothes quite difficult. I'd say shorts, t-shirt and a waterproof coat would be the ideal scenario for a day like today. Probably about a third of the way around this walk that Go Jauntly's come up with for me, and I'm kind of keeping to time. National Network, Cycle Network 1 comes through here as well. Yeah, I'm kind of keeping to time, so I am slightly limited with my time today. I have a train to catch from Canterbury Station, and I've probably got about a 20-minute window at the end of this walk to find the station, grab a cup of coffee or whatever before I head on my way. I do actually quite like walking in the rain. It's got a sort of a relaxing, calming feel to it. Usually means wherever you walk in it's a bit quieter as well, unless you're up in the Lake District or the Peaks or some of the well-known walking routes that are frequently very wet and rainy. The guys up there are very hardy, they'll walk in anything. We're in suburban England, not quite so hardy I don't think. I'm always surprised by the walks that this app gives me, and I could have taken one that was much shorter, of course, an hour or 45 minutes, and it would have kept me in the city centre, winding through the little streets. I'll set the walk up based on pretty much how much time I've actually got, and I'm surprised quite often how far out of a town or city these apps will take you. Although I'm still in Canterbury, it is quite a way out on the outskirts here, and because of the rain it's getting quite muddy as well, which I hadn't actually factored in for today, shoes wise, but never mind, all good fun. Strangely, this whole area doesn't appear to be named on the map. I'm sure it's got a name, it just isn't on this particular map for some reason. But that pond there is called Reed Pond. Just a little anomaly with the map, I guess. I'm sure it's got a name because this is quite a big woods, has to be said. Whoa, that was a pretty steep hill to walk up there. I wasn't anticipating that either. Hopefully this is the highest point. Right, so this walk now on the app sends me on a little circular loop to the left there through the woods, and brings me back round, back out just opposite there somewhere, and then sends me off to the right. So I'm just going to take the right hand turn actually. I'm not going to do the little loop. I took a slight wrong turning just back there, and it cost me a bit of time, so I'm guessing I'll come out from over there somewhere once I've completed the loop, but I think you get the general picture. I'm going to sort of heading back in towards Canterbury itself now, or in that general direction. Right, so beginning to leave this wooded area. I was going to call it a park when I saw it on the map, but it's certainly not a park. It's I don't know, what would you call it, like a heath, or yeah, something like that. I'm sure it's got a name locally. There might even be a sign when I get to the exit over here which will tell me. I didn't see one on the way in anyway. New houses there, they've not been there very long, I don't think. Well, this is interesting, this housing estate. I think it's well, it is finished. There's definitely cars there, people living in those houses, but the fencing here, it's almost like a gated community, like in America. I thought I was going to be walking through that estate, but just looking at the app, it is actually sending me down this alleyway, next to it and on the peasant side of the fence, I guess you could say, which is interesting. Someone's take number, and I mean, it's like, I don't know what this is. Look at that barbed wire as well. Fencing pulled back. Very interesting. That was all very strange. I presume that was originally fenced off while this was still a housing development, before any houses were sold and lived in, which they definitely are lived in now, or most of them are anyway. Very new housing estate. And some not so new houses over there. I wonder how they feel about the housing estate built right opposite them on this land here. Quite high up above the city now. I imagine it's going to be, or at least hopefully, downhill now. I didn't realise Canterbury was so hilly. You learn something new every day, I suppose, and certainly when you just take random walks using an app and follow the app's instructions rather than following your nose. It's amazing what you discover about certain places. Feels almost quite bleak. And just see top of the cathedral there, completely from the other. Oh, there we go. Sorry about that a little bit. I was slightly off balance when I did that. Yeah, that's completely from the other side. I took the view off earlier on by the river. Legacy Park, look out for the snakes, native reptiles. Fantastic. Not so sure there'll be too many around this housing estate, but in those woods there, back there. I presume that's called Legacy Park back there. Right, definitely on a downhill into the centre of the city in a slightly sketchy alleyway at the moment, actually. So some dubious characters hanging around just back there. I'm sure they were doing no harm, but can't be too careful sometimes. It's just through the suburbs now and then back into the city centre in about quarter of a mile to half a mile, I'd say, from here. So I'll come back to you then, just for the last part of this little stroll around Canterbury. Coming up to Longport now. I'll be quite pleased to get in the dry, actually. It's got steadily rainier as the afternoon has gone on. Main road this, I guess, because it's directing us, there we go, 19 miles to Dover. Yeah, we are fairly close to Dover here. And a sign there that says St Augustine's Abbey City Centre, Stour Valley Walk and North Downs Way. Now, North Downs Way does come through here. I did notice that on the map, and that looks a splendid long walk, but obviously not for... you need a few days for that, for sure, and better equipment than I currently have with me, let's say. So that's for another day. North Downs Walk. Yeah, just getting back into the city centre now. Got some signs for the cathedral just down here and tourist information, and starting to come across the slightly more interesting shops and cafes and things. Yeah, this wet weather's certainly kept the tourists at bay today, that's for sure. This will be very busy along here, I'm absolutely sure of that, on a nice warm summer's day, and also at the weekend, of course. probably the ideal time to come if you just want the place to yourself. Under Tony and Guy are, you see those hair salons everywhere. Usually in slightly smarter places. Not smarter than here, I mean the smarter type of towns such as here. Just to make that clear. Certainly plenty of independent shops here, independent cafes and restaurants that are unique to here, which is always a good thing and makes somewhere popular. There's a lot of towns like that in the UK. There's also a lot of towns like that in the UK, like in the UK, that just have the generic same old chain shops and restaurants, which at best are boring, aren't they? But serve a purpose, I suppose. Just looking at what's going on down here. Certainly a nice smell of Chinese food coming from somewhere. Oh, just walking past it, am I right there? Chinese 5 spice, very strong smell. Beautiful. I will come back at some time in the future and just focus on the very centre of Canterbury and the cathedral. Do a separate video for that as soon as I possibly can. Back onto the High Street now and just back off the North Kent Way. North Kent Way, sorry, the North Downs Way. We're on the main street here. There's a few more well-known brands on display. Hotel Chocolat there, Pret a Manger, etc, etc. Don't do a lot for me, I'm afraid, those places. I prefer these little independent guys. And I shall be looking for one of those in a moment. Everyone's taking a picture here, so I'm guessing there's a good view. Indeed there is, look at that. Fantastic view of the cathedral. Okay, that's it from the centre, from my walk around Canterbury, up, out, over onto the Downs or whatever. That looks fun. I'll tell you what, there's some fantastic smells down here. Lots of pizza places as well. So I'm almost back to where we were. There's the gate entrance down there to the city that I came through earlier on when I came into Canterbury West. I'm going to make my way to Canterbury Station in a moment to catch a train, head home. So thanks for watching. This, as I say, was a walk around Canterbury, and I shall come back in the fairly near future and do one here in the centre, hopefully on a slightly nicer day. And we're going to have a little look at the cathedral and some of what those guys are up to on the boats on the river. There's a fair few people touting for business to go on little trips, walks and things like that. Obviously that's up to you. If you want to go for those, go for it. I'm sure it'd be great fun. Anyway, thank you for watching. As I said earlier on, if you like it, click the little like button, subscribe, or the bell for notifications. So from Canterbury, thanks for watching. Take care of yourself. See you again soon. Bye now.